Hi, after some unforeseen delays, we are here today with reviewing the 1972 baseball season, Week 9. Week 9, which started on Monday, June 12th. Just to set the record straight, I run these seasons from Monday through Sunday. On June 12th, the baseball community was shocked when former Angels manager Lefty Phillips died unexpectedly from an asthma attack. He was 56 years old. I take that back. I just looked it up. He was 53 years old. He had been the manager of the Angels in 1970. Well, let me see. The Angels, I think, had a decent year in 1970. Yeah, he took over for the team, managing the team in 1969. 1970, they finished in second place with 89 wins. But then with clubhouse dissension and a well publicized battle with Alex Johnson in 1971, the team dropped to 70 and 89 to fifth place. When asked about Alex Johnson during spring training, Phillips criticized his on-field play, but not him as an individual. He said that other than what happened on the field, he never had any trouble with Alex Johnson. Never got any late night calls about Johnson being in trouble, stuff like that. But he said that he did have that with some other players, and there was issues in the Angels clubhouse with team, like the team breaking down into factions, and even clubhouse problems with the Red Sox reached out to the Angels clubhouse because of Tony Canigliaro being a member of the Angels. But Phillips had went back to being a scout, probably with the Dodgers, I think, because he had come up through the Dodgers organization as a scout. He didn't play very much minor league ball because of an injury. But that was June 12th, 1972. He died at the age of 53. On Tuesday the 13th, Cincinnati swept a doubleheader against the Phillies. And they moved from third place to first place, passing the Dodgers and the Astros. And the same night, Kansas City passed California to move into first place in the AL West. California had a 5-game losing streak going on at the time. On Wednesday, the New York Yankees, Celerino Sanchez, in his second major league game, he had just arrived from Mexico, replacing the recently sent down Rich McKinney, and Sanchez hit 3 hits in his second major league game. So that made 4 hits in his first 2 games. McKinney in real life was struggling with both his fielding and his hitting. In my simulation, his fielding has been a problem, but not his hitting. And sending him down is like one of those things that kind of gives me pause right now, because normally when I am running a season simulation like this, I would not use the additional transition dates. I play in the alternate reality mode, and while I use the regular transactions like trades and releases and signing of free agents and stuff like that, I don't use the additional ones. I guess that either symbolize or signify injuries or players being sent up and down. But in this era, I find that I really need to use them mainly because of keeping track of players taking time off for military training, like doing their summer reserve training, like the I'm not sure if it was exactly in the 70s like it was for us in the 80s, where if you were an active reservist, you would do a week in the month and 2 weeks in the summer. But trying to keep track of all that would have been, without using the additional transaction dates, would be a problem. So in my simulation, I mean, McKinney's hitting over 300, but I'd still have him sent down. Maybe I could rationalize it like he had gotten hurt. He was like being sent down to rehab or something. I'm having trouble thinking exactly who the Yankees AAA affiliate was in 1972. It's not coming. Maybe it'll come to me by the time I'm done doing this. On that same day, Wednesday the 14th, Oakland swept Baltimore. That capped off well, it didn't cap off, but it continued Oakland's 6-game winning streak. They had also swept Detroit at Tiger Stadium, and Oakland passed Minnesota and moved into third place. Thursday was probably the biggest news of the season so far. That'd be Thursday the 15th. Roberto Clemente got his 3,000th hit. It was in the first game of a doubleheader against the San Francisco Giants in Pittsburgh. It was his second hit of the game. In the first game of the doubleheader, and it came off of Sam McDowell. I believe that Clemente actually ended up with 4 hits in that game. So he finished the first game of that doubleheader with a career total of 3,002 hits. Pittsburgh swept that doubleheader against the Giants. out in Anaheim, the Indians swept the California Angels in a 3-game series, returning the favor of when California had come to Cleveland for a weekend 3-game series and swept the Indians. And that same afternoon, the Chicago Cubs won their 7th in a row when they beat the Padres. They had also, before that series with the Padres, they had swept the Giants at Candlestick Park. Then the next day on Friday, the Cubs won their 8th in a row, beating the Dodgers. And Cubs rookie Rick Reuschel made his major league debut. Cubs had been unsuccessful in acquiring Steve Carlton from the Phillies. And so they brought up Rick Reuschel instead. He made his major league debut, and the Cubs won that game, beating the Dodgers. And that night, Oakland won their 7th in a row, beating the Indians. Saturday had a couple of young pitchers with big strikeout days. Boston Red Sox split a doubleheader with the White Sox, and rookie John Curtis struck out 11 against the White Sox. While in Oakland, the A's won their 8th in a row as they beat the Indians, and Vida Blue struck out 11. And on Sunday, Oakland swept the Indians, and they've won 9 in a row, which puts them in 3rd place in the AL West, a half game behind Kansas City, and California's in 2nd place in a virtual tie with Kansas City. And at Wrigley Field on Sunday, the Dodgers took on the Cubs, and Frank Robinson went 4 for 5 against the Cubs. He hit 4 home runs in that game. Let me look it up. He is the first batter since 1962 to hit 4 home runs in a game. 1963, the last batter to hit 4 home runs in a game had been Frank Howard, who did it on September 13th, 1963, when he was with the Dodgers, and that was against the Phillies. I played that game as the Dodgers, and that was pretty impressive. The Curt Flood court odyssey seems like it came to its conclusion this week when his suit against Major League Baseball was defeated in front of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court voted 5-3 in favor of Major League Baseball, with Harry Blackmun writing the majority opinion, saying that whether the reserve clause is right or the reserve clause is wrong, or if baseball is entitled to an antitrust exemption, which it's held since 1922, that the courts are the wrong venue to pursue a change of that. That if that's going to be changed, it should be done through Congress. So Congress at different points has held hearings throughout the years over that. And I mean, I remember them holding hearings about it in the late 80s and early 90s after I'd gotten out of the Navy. And it seemed like one of the spearheads against it, or about getting the antitrust exemption revoked, was Connie Mack, a descendant of Connie Mack, the owner of the A's. I think it was probably his grandson, who was a I can't remember if he was a senator or a representative from Florida. I don't think he was. I don't think he was a senator. I think he was a representative. June 15th was the trade deadline, and there wasn't much trade activity this year. The Orioles had traded Jerry Devannon to the Angels for Roger Repos. The Reds traded Pat Corrales to the Padres for Bob Barton. Corrales wasn't even on the major league roster for the Reds. He had been sent down to AAA after Bill Plummer was called up, and the Reds sent Bob Barton to the minors, while Corrales is joining the Padres. The Indians traded Fred Stanley to the Padres for Mike Kilkenny. So the Indians are the Kilkenny's fourth team that he'll appear with this season. The Astros traded a minor leaguer, John Dolensk, in cash to the Expos for Gary Sutherland, an infielder. The Expos traded John Bateman to the Phillies for Tim McCarver. And the Braves traded Jim Nash and Gary Niebauer to the Phillies for Joe Horner and Andre Thornton. Spoiler alert, Andre Thornton, of course, future member of the Cleveland Indians. And that was about it. There were still rumors that the Indians and the Yankees might work out a trade for Greg Nettles to the Yankees for Steve Kline, which didn't happen. And there were rumors that the Cubs were trying to acquire Steve Carlton from Philadelphia, which also didn't happen. Steve Carlton, I wouldn't say he's struggling. He's 5-6. Which in real life, Carlton did get off to kind of a slow start with the Phillies, and then really caught fire in June and finished up with one of the great seasons of the modern era. And let's look at some day-to-day highlights from the week. On Monday, Ron Reed of the Braves, he pitched 7 2/3 innings, giving up 1 earned run. He struck out 10. Braves won that game 11-1 against the Mets. And Reed got the win over Tom Seaver. Seaver is kind of scuffling this year. Mets are still in first place, but their big lead has melted down to a game and a half against Pittsburgh. In the month of June, so far the Mets have gone 6-10, so they're struggling a little bit. Tuesday, Joe Torre hit of the Cardinals. Had a home run and 5 runs batted in. That was against the Dodgers as the Cardinals won 12-3. Henry Aaron hit 2 home runs. As the Braves, they beat the Mets 9-3. Phil Niekro got his 11th win of the year. He is still the only pitcher in double digits in wins so far this season. Bob Gibson's following him closely with 9 wins. Let's see if anything happened on Wednesday. Jim Wynn of the Astros hit 2 home runs as the Astros beat the Expos 11-4. '15th, as I said before, that was Roberto Clemente getting his 3,000th hit. At the end of last season, I remember looking at the numbers and thinking that, barring any injury, he would get his 3,000th hit around June 15th. And I was a little surprised that I called it on the exact day. In the second game of that doubleheader, Nelson Briles pitched a 3-hitter with 10 strikeouts as the Pirates beat the Astros 4-1. In the game where Clemente got his 3,000th hit, the Pirates beat the Giants 8-1. And Clemente went 5 for 4 that day, with hit number 2 being his 3,000th. And Friday, Doc Ellis, again against San Diego, pitched a 2-hitter as the Pirates beat the Padres 2-1. Billy Williams of the Cubs got 4 hits that day. That was the Cubs beating the Giants, or the Dodgers, 9-8. Bill Buckner of the Dodgers went 4 for 6 that game, and Frank Robinson went 3 for 4. And Jim Spencer of the Angels got 4 hits as the Angels beat the Tigers 5-4. Saturday, John Curtis of the Red Sox struck out 11. I mentioned that before. Vida Blue of the A's struck out 11. And Blue struck out or shut out the Indians 10-0 that day. Indians have a 3-game losing streak going now. And Sunday, the Dodgers hit 6 home runs. That was Frank Robinson hit 4 home runs. Willie Crawford and Willie Davis each hit a home run, and Randy Hundley, and Rick Monday hit a home run each for the Cubs. So there were 8 home runs in that game. But Frank Robinson hit 4 home runs, drove in 7 runs. And this is my wrap up for Week 9 of the 1972 season. Thank you for watching.